Hello and welcome to the video. Today we will be discussing history for combined defense services. We will thoroughly go through all the sources and questions asked in the previous year papers to familiarize with what is coming in history and whether you should prepare it or not, or from which sources you must prepare history. Before moving any forward, I would like to give you an idea about my preparation. The sources that I already have studied thoroughly. This includes all NCRTs, 6th to 12th, Bipin Chandra, GK Chronicles, and many other sources. But I haven't studied Tamil Nadu State Board history books, which some people prefer. We will be discussing about them too. So let's start. So let's get familiarized with what is on screen. Here I have categorized history questions from last 4 year paper according to the sources from which they have been asked. For example, the first question, which one of the following author was not associated with Humayun? This question was directly asked from NCERT. You can also see that I have used three different colors for text. These three colors represent the different sections of history, that is, his modern history, ancient history, and medieval history. We will be discussing each and every section and question, but before that, we need to move forward to have a look at further arrangement. On this page, you can see that I have categorized the paper according to the attemptability. It means questions which can be attempted and questions which cannot be attempted. Attempted questions are questions which a person who has read history can do, and unattemptable questions are the questions which, no matter how much history you have studied or have you done PhD or not, you cannot do these questions. We will have a look at them thoroughly in a minute. Just to get a little bit of understanding, let me discuss some questions here. Like the question from 2019 second, that Bradley thesis. Then we have a question about Konakati tenure. This question was related to Birsa Munda rebellion. Third is who started Indian Agriculture Services. Then the question was concept of four pillar state was propounded by. So these are some of the questions which are in category of not attemptable. On the other side, there are questions which are attemptable, such as Bernier was physician. Francois Bernier was physician to which Mughal emperor? Amarnayaka system was related to which dynasty? Then there are question which of the following was author was not associated with Humayun? So these are the questions which this Humayun question was not attemptable, but these are the questions which are attemptable. It means you have a source. If you study from there, you will be able to attempt these questions. Okay. Now we have data. We will use this data to come to draw various conclusions. So here is data arranged. First is questions asked. As you can probably see, is that most of the questions are from modern history. You can see in 2021, approximate 66% questions were only from this modern history, and the number goes upwards towards 2020 second, and then it was around half of the paper which consists of modern history in 2021 and 2020 sorry 2021 and 2019 second. Second section in line is attemptable. So half of the questions of modern history were attemptable, and half of the questions were such that it does not matter from where you have studied or what you have studied, you won't be able to do. Even the humanities student won't be able to do these questions. So the number remains 50% in case of modern history. In case of medieval history, the number is around 50%, and in ancient history, it gets worse. It means no matter from where you study ancient history, the kind of questions that are asked in ancient history, you cannot attempt. There are so many confusing statements as well as the facts which you cannot study neither from NCRT nor from any other source. And third is sources. So here sources means from where the question has been asked. So when I traced each and every question back to its origin, I found out that most of the questions in modern history were asked from GK Chronicles, the site which I often recommend. Also, there were questions from NCERT, and 33% questions are the kind of questions which had no source at all. That is, 16 questions had no source at all. Next is medieval history. The number remains 10, means majority of questions of modern history as in CDS paper are from NCERT, and 3 questions were from other sources in last 4 year paper. Sorry, last 4 papers. Next is ancient history. In ancient history, majority of questions had no source, and there were some questions which were from NCERT. But believe me when I say it is from NCERT, even I could not even do those questions in examination after giving my paper. When I started tracing the origin, then I found out that these questions were from NCERT. But I cannot prepare the ancient history. I used to prepare history, but now I don't. So let's move forward. Here we will discuss each and every section in detail, starting with ancient history. First is, I do not recommend studying this section, even if you are from humanities. Reasons are, even if you have completed NCRT and other sources, the questions are not attemptable. Okay, let me discuss some questions. The questions in red ones are the question from ancient history. Just look at the questions. Author and their political works. There is no doubt that anyone can do these questions. Then the questions for the Gandhar School of Arts. It was also a question no one can do, especially the science section, science student from science background. It is out of questions that anyone from science background can do such questions. Even there will be very small fraction of people from humanities who will be able to do such questions. The statement about Gupt coins. Then we had question about who, sorry, Panch Tantra statements, very typical statements. It was hard for humanities background people to discover what is true and what is not. Stone Age statements not possible to answer. Then there was a question: Church blade was produced at which Harappan site? Not in NCRT. I have read all. So this question was also typical questions, not attemptable, no matter from where you read. Then detailed statements about Ashoka. When I say detailed, they were literally detailed. One statement in this question was that who persuaded Ashoka to uh, venture into the Buddhism. Next was site which has maximum maritime link with Coromandel Coast. So this question was from NCRT, but the way the question was hidden in the NCRT, no one, not a person who has who has done self study can decipher. Next was writer of Vajra Bhakti Vilasa. This is a fact based question, not in NCRT, not on any other source that I found. So you can see why I have kept them in the non-attemptable category, because you cannot attempt these questions. Not even humanities stream students. Next is least questions are asked. Just look at the number of ancient history questions asked. One, two, four, three. In comparison, look at the modern history paper asked. Now you can realize that not many questions are asked from this section, and the questions which are asked from this section are not attemptable at all. So now, there is no confirmed source for ancient India. People often advise for Tamil state books, but I have not studied and I cannot confirm. And I believe that this situation will remain same even after completing those books. So do not waste your time for just 2 to 4 unattemptable questions. Even if you will study Tamil Nadu history books, then also the number will remain the same and attemptability will remain the same. So there is no use of approaching ancient history. Skip this section. Both for science student as well as humanities student, this section is not for anyone. Next, let's discuss medieval history. In medieval history, humanities people can, but skipping is what I suggest. Only half of the questions are attemptable, but most of them are from NCRT, so you can do some of them. So half of attemptability. Let's look at the questions. Okay, the questions in blue are from medieval history. First is, which one of the following author was not associated with Humayun? This is a question directly from NCRT, but the way it was hidden, no one can could have done. Not even the history background student. Who translated Leelavati into Persian? No mention in NCRT or any other source. Bernier was Francois Bernier was physician too. This was a question directly from NCRT. Amar Naika system directly from NCRT. Ibn Battuta was sent to China by. This is also from NCRT. Kitabul Hind was written in which language? Directly from NCRT. Who painted Jahangir and Safavid King? So this was also a NCRT statement. Mughal Mansab. Now, the question. Who destroyed Turkan-e-Chilangani? This is a typical history question. I do not know whether the history student will be able to do or not, but this is not from NCRT. Who did not cross Indus to attack India? Not from NCRT and not attemptable at all. Now, third statement was, sorry, another question was Siyar ul Mutkarin written by. So, this is a book about Battle of Plassey. It was written there. So this he was asking about the author name of this book, which was not even possible for history student to answer. Chandi Mangala, written in which language? Directly from NCRT. Statement about Greek traveler, though from NCRT but not attemptable at all. Who were Alvars and Narayans? Attemptable question. Which emperor was follower of Naqshbandiya leader Khwaja Ubayuddollah? This is also a question not from NCRT. Not many questions are asked from this section of modern history. Let us look. The medieval history section, the questions asked are 4 in 2021, then 2, 5, 5. So, not many questions are asked from this section too. But whatever questions are asked, they are half of them are attemptable. Just look at the attemptability. So, you can attempt them if you do NCRT. Okay, but I do not recommend, I sincerely do not recommend science student for studying medieval history because we have because you will be giving so much of your time and you won't be getting that much of return. Instead of this, if you will invest in bio or physics, then you will get more return. So ditch this section. For humanities students, it is up to you if you want to do it or not. It is waste of time chasing 2 to 3 questions and reading multiple books. This is what I believe. So last is modern history. So the my advice is do it if you have command over polity and geography. Before that, do not approach this section. Also for humanities student. Science student won't be able to understand everything as it will require help. You need to have a teacher to study modern history because by reading you won't get anything. Okay, but if you are a reader, I recommend 8 class 8th and 12th part 3rd NCRT, and do also read modern history from GK Chronicles because most fact based questions are directly from there. I have seen. But remember, after all your effort, only half of the question will be attemptable. Most questions are from modern history. Let's look at the attemptability. Even if you will study all these sources, you will be only able to attempt half of the modern history questions asked. Let us look at what kind of questions are asked from modern history. This is let's second paper. Subkranti proposed by. You cannot do this question. Azamgarh proclamation related to mutiny of Sepoy, but it is a very typical question not mentioned in NCRT and and not in even in Bipin Chandra. I have read Bipin Chandra too. Who wrote Stapatra series? Now, about this statement, I it was written by Gopi Hari Deshmukh, and when I read about this personality from Wikipedia, there also I did not find any mention about this Satapatra series. So, do not expect that you will be able to do such questions, and it will be full of you to even imagine that you can do such questions. Next is Triveni Sangha was formed by not direct questions, fact-based question, not from NCRT, not neither from any other source. You cannot prepare such questions, and I highly do not recommend to do such questions, because they are just there to to give you the negative marks. Okay, so do not go for the modern history. Half of the paper is only attemptable and half of the paper is not attemptable. We have discussed the modern history questions too, and you can relate from what I am saying here. So this is all about the modern history. You the amount of effort that you will put in modern history after reading so much of sources and books, you will be only able to do half of the questions. So my advice is, do not waste your time on history. Just in case you have nothing else to study, do modern history the way I suggest. It means just complete your class 8 NCRT, 12th part 3rd, and read GK Chronicles. Okay, that is all. And this I only recommend to humanities students. For humanities students, do not do ancient history, skip medieval history too. Only for 2 to 3 questions you will be reading so much. And if you have time and you have command over polity and geography, then go for modern history and do class 8th, 12th part 3rd, and GK Chronicles. Science and commerce aspirant, stay away from history. I again reiterate my words, stay away from history, because not even the humanities student will be able to do more than 5 to 6 questions. Okay, so there is no chance for you to score anything from modern history. And I have seen people who have prepared, who have taken coaching classes for history, and they are also saying this, that they were only able to do 3 to 4 questions. Okay, after putting so much of effort and time, it is waste. I myself, I'm from science background, and I, when initially I started preparing, I did history. That is why I have read all 6 to 12 NCRTs, Bipin Chandra, everything. But in my last 2 attempts, I myself, I have not read history NCRTs or any other source related to history. I did not prepare history at all, because reason is same. I stated this reason in my post too, but there you won't be able to understand why I'm saying this. Here I have explained everything explicitly. So just take my advice, stay away from history. If you want to clear GK paper, it is very easy. Simple rule is 12 right in polity. There are 18 questions asked, 18 to 20 questions asked. I am just stating that just do 12 right in geography. Then 10 right in polity. Polity is a very scoreable subject, and 15 questions are asked at least. I'm just saying that do 10 right. Current affairs, I have seen 15 to 23 questions of current affairs. This is least a person will do. 12 right. Okay, I will share my notes. There are some questions which are free marks. We will discuss such questions in upcoming videos. All you need is 24 right questions to clear GK section. So stop worrying about how you will clear the GK section. Only 24 questions you need to do right. And if you combine all these questions, you are scoring 34 questions, 10 more than what is required to pass the GK section. Focus on other subjects. Okay. For example, if you are from science, do physics, chemistry, mathematics, physics, chemistry, bio, whatever you are comfortable with. If you are from commerce, you already have a good economics. If not, then you at least have an idea from where the questions are coming. Read them. Above statements are least a person can score. Actual number will definitely be higher if you will follow my strategy. Yeah, definitely. if you will follow what I am saying in my geography as well as polity strategy, you need not to worry about the GK section paper. And we have thoroughly discussed the history paper. Now, considering everything, do you think that you will be able to score good marks in history after giving so much of attempt? Just look at the questions. Sannyasi Fakir uprising. This is from NCRT. Kesari was founded by. Then Treaty of Basin. This is a question from Maratha history. Maratha history is not present in NCRT. It is from Bipin Chandra. I have read in Bipin Chandra. That is why I know that this question is from Maratha history. And if you are a science student, definitely it is a no-brainer that do not go for modern history or any history part. Skip the history section. So that is all for the history section. I hope all your doubts have been cleared, and if not, then we have a session today. We will meet there. Thank you. And if this video helps you, please do share, because only if you will share, then this channel will grow. Thank you very much.